All right, well, this is pretty cool as we are in the video lounge with some special guests, and I wish I could name the team. I wish I could say from the Seattle something, but we still don't know. Hopefully soon we're going to get a name for the new PWHL team here in Seattle, Pro Women's Hockey League. But we do have a couple of special guests. We've got Meghan Turner, who's the GM of this team, and that's kind of an interesting position in a league that is owned that owns all of the teams. So I'm kind of curious how that works and what that looks like. And then Jenna Buglioni, who is the first round pick of the unnamed team here in Seattle, first draft pick in their history. So I want to get to know you a little bit, and maybe let's start there because not quite local, but Vancouver area. So pretty cool to get to start in Seattle.
Yeah, I spent the last 5 years in Columbus, so it's going to be awesome to be closer to home. It's only a quick 2.5-hour drive for my family to be able to come down and explore the city. I've spent a little bit of time in Seattle growing up, but it'll be nice for them to be able to come down and catch a lot of games and finally be able to see me play more often.
When did you know that this was possible? I mean, the league wasn't around that long ago. You're a kid growing up in Vancouver. You're playing hockey. Was this a dream to figure out a way to do it professionally? Was it Olympics? Like, what were you thinking as a kid?
Yeah, when I was younger, it was always, I want to play on Team Canada. I want to go to the Olympics. And as the pioneers in women's hockey started to kind of make leagues happen, that was where the focus also went. And then it was more when this league started coming about when I was in college, I was like, okay, that's really where I want to be. Like, it's becoming a lot more sustainable, and that's my next goal. Obviously, still want to make it to the Olympics, but becoming a professional athlete was that next step before then.
I want to make the interview in general more about hockey than women's hockey, but it's sort of hard to ignore since it's the Women's Hockey League. Growing up, are you playing all girls hockey? Were you playing co-ed hockey? What did that look like for you in your journey?
Yeah, I first started in boys hockey, and then I made the switch over just because the relationships started to become a lot more important. And then there was checking that started happening in boys hockey, and I obviously was a little bit of a smaller player, and the boys just had that like crazy growth spurt at that time. So I made the switch over for Pee Wee age, and then been playing girls the rest of the way.
You said the relationships. I assume that's got to start to matter in the locker and the dressing room, right? Like you gotta be around people that you feel that connection with. Is that kind of what you're saying there?
Yeah, feeling comfortable, and the people are everything. I mean, if you're not with people that are helping support you and guide you in the right direction, it's pretty hard to do things well and enjoy it when you're there. So that was probably something that was really important to me.
You mentioned the checking. So my understanding is there's no checking in women's hockey. And then I went to the game here between the Montreal and Boston teams. I didn't really come away thinking that there was no checking. It seemed like there was a lot of checking and a lot of physicality. And quite frankly, it's one of the reasons I wanted to have you guys in, because I fell in love watching it. It looked just the way I wanted hockey to look. Might have been more physical than some of the Kraken games I've watched over the last couple of years. So is there checking in women's hockey?
I would say so. Yeah,
I can take this one.
Yeah,
jump in. Is there checking in women's hockey?
It's a modified version of it. So there's rules around physicality. You can make hits, but there's kind of a specific way to make the hit to not endanger the other player. So like open ice hits where you're going the opposite direction are not allowed, but if your feet are moving in the same direction and you're both going the same way, you can certainly deliver a hit.
Well, I was impressed. I just could not believe how physical the game was, and just, I mean, a really high quality. Is that part of the design of the team? You get to design what kind of a team you want. What kind of team should we expect?
Yeah, well, I think Jenna embodies it here. She likes to get into battles and along the boards and be physical. But I think overall, just a hard to play against teams, a team that when you get on the ice, you're a little nervous to play them and a little nervous to have some sustained offense. And it would be hard to get the puck back, kind of playing keep away. So definitely, I think we have a good balance of skill and size on both the front end and the back end. So
what's won in the league the last couple of years? Like what style, what traits have the winners had in the PWHL the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think, well, we can look to Minnesota because they've won both
Right.
years. And I think for them, they do a few things that I've seen. First is they're really fast. So they move the puck up the ice very quickly, but they can also skate the puck up the ice very quickly. They stretch zones so they don't collapse. And create small spaces for themselves. They really create open ice and create opportunities. And then they have a lot of depth, and they have depth scoring, so they can score from their first line to their fourth line. And I think that's what has won championships for them is kind of those three elements from my observations.
So you got kind of an interesting story. I'm just looking at your resume, so I don't know you very well. I'm just meeting you here in the last few minutes, but started at Phillips Exeter, one of the great elite private schools, boarding schools in the country. Then you go to Quinnipiac to play hockey. Then you go to PricewaterhouseCoopers, of course, Big Five consulting firm, or whatever it is, Big Four now. And now you're the GM. Like, how does that path work?
Yeah, not linear, I would say. I always wanted to work in hockey and in sports, but in college, you go to the career fairs, and I was in business school, and so the big four was really attractive. They just do a lot of good things and do a lot of things right, and there's a lot of growth opportunity within those organizations, and you can do a lot of different things. So I kind of gave up on thinking I would work in sports, to be honest with you, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this PwC thing, and I kind of decided that I would stick it out and stay in consulting for, 30 something years. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. This is going to be my career path because it's a good one. And then Danielle Marmer, long story short, approached me and was like, hey, I got this job in Boston. Do you want to come work with me?
So you weren't like doodling on pieces of paper of like line combinations you wanted to put together one day?
No, not at all. I was like pretty present in the moment about what my job. But when the league came about, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. I played in some of the predecessor leagues post-college. And so it was just kind of, watching as the Pioneers were doing their thing, bringing the women's game up.
Did you learn anything from your time in the business world that you're now taking with you to this world?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing for me is from consulting, you have to take every project as something that's kind of starting from scratch. Like sometimes you might have a template to go off of, but you're really you're staffing a team. And then you're delivering on the work that you've promised and agreed to with your clients. So just being able to ramp up really, really quickly and then deliver work at a high level under a lot of stress and pressure, that is something I'm pretty used to from that.
So GM of a team in a league that is owned, the league owns all the teams.
Yep.
So it's a funny press release when it says the league has hired you
sure.
to be the GM. But okay, so what does that look like when you're building a team? Do you have to go through the league for whatever you do? Like how would that be a unique quality for a GM in a league like this?
Yeah, it's a good question. So they give you a lot of autonomy, obviously. They hired me, and it's my responsibility to go build a team and a staff and an organization and build the culture out there. But I have a good foundation that I can build upon and a lot of support from the league level. So they obviously have huge networks when I'm hiring and can help me and support me there. They have a lot of resources, and they want ownership. They try to streamline some things, like from the equipment perspective, ordering, things of that nature. So it really is a good balance of allowing some autonomy or a lot of autonomy in me structuring my own organization, but giving me the support that I need to do so.
So I'll tell you guys a quick story, and it'll lead into the next part of this conversation. And bear in mind, it was a story I was expecting to tell to Hillary Knight because she was originally going to be here this morning. And we'll talk to her when she gets back. So a couple months ago, I got a text thread with some buddies and who aren't huge sports fans, but I think it might have been during the Four Nations thing. And someone said, "Hey, Mike, who's the best?" They know I'm a hockey guy. Who's the best American hockey player of all time? And I'm thinking, and I'm like, it's probably Brett Hull, but you could make a case for 2-3 other people, and maybe it's, I don't know, Tony Amont. Like, going through some names, maybe it's. So I go with Brett Hull, and my daughter Cecily, who plays hockey, is sitting next to me, and she looks over at my phone and sees it, and she looks at me and goes, "Dad, It's Hillary Knight. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course it's Hillary Knight. Like, she's clearly the greatest American hockey player of all time. If there's a debate between 4 or 5 guys, she's far and away the greatest female American hockey player of all time. Mm-hmm. You're now her teammate. How's that feel?
I mean, right after I got drafted, I got a text from her, and I didn't even really feel real. I mean,
had you met her before? Or
I had never
talked
met
to
her
nothing?
Before, nothing. Just never really crossed paths with her. But she is such an elite hockey player. Her resume speaks for itself, but also how she is off the ice, I think, is even more impressive. The second I got here, she made me feel so welcomed, and I think I've asked her probably about a million questions, but she's just so available to help, and I'm super excited to get to learn from her. I hope I can have a successful and long career like she has had, and just to be able to be at least a sliver like she is, I think will be incredible.
What is it that sets her apart on the ice? Why is she the greatest?
I think that every zone she makes an impact. She can score, she can lock it down the D zone. She's not afraid of, it seems like, anything on the ice. Yeah, and she's fast and she's physical. She has a little bit of every component to make a great hockey player.
And you were with her last year, Megan. So, when I saw you got hired, I'm looking at the resume. I'm like, Boston. Hillary was there last year. I wonder if they have a relationship at all. And I'll admit, I kind of thought the same thing with Lane Lambert. And I was like, oh, he was in Toronto. Maybe Mitch Marner's on his... Well, that didn't happen. But the Hillary Knight thing certainly did.
It did.
Was that partly because of a relationship that you formed with her there?
Yeah, I think I just had the benefit of seeing how she not only played, obviously, but how she was in the locker room. And to Jenna's point, you can tell she takes care of the team. She's a fantastic leader. And she does the little things in every zone, and you obviously know when the puck's on her stick, she's going to score a goal. So she's a leader through and through. And so I had witnessed that for 2 years in Boston, and so it was a no-brainer for me to bring her on board and build a team around her.
Give me one other name. You built this team. Obviously, we've gotten to meet Jenna. Hillary is the most known quantity in the league, let alone on the team. If you come in here at the end of this year and we're talking about how the year went, give me one more name of somebody that's going to have a direct factor into how successful your season is.
Oh gosh,
Is it hard to pick one?
It's really
I know
hard
it's
to
mean.
pick one.
Yeah.
I think Jenna's gonna do an amazing job.
Well, that's because she's sitting next to you.
Yeah, well, no, she's gonna. You know what? She's a competitor, okay, and she's gonna do really great in this league. I could go down the list of everyone on the roster. I really could. I think we will be talking about every single player in this team because they are all so good and they are all great people. And I know that they're going to get into the community and people are going to see that firsthand. So I'm hesitant to pick one because I really do think that they're all great.
That's what you get at Price Waterhouse Cooper. Learn that at Phillips Exeter and all the way through. I love it. Well, it's great to meet you both. When do we know when we're getting a name to the team? Do we have a timing? Nothing. I know you're not really in the business side of this. Can we get anything? No information.
We'll know when you know. How about that?
Well, my other daughter would like.
Really
the
dissatisfying.
She's pushing for the spruce.
The spruce. Seattle spruce. I like the alliteration.
She saw somebody had something like that at the barnstorming game, so she's hoping for spruce. So if you have any pull,
we'll put in a good word.
Right, thank you. It's really great to meet you both. Excited to watch the league this year, and just continue. Good luck. I think it's just such a cool thing. Love the product, and really excited to have this as part of the Seattle sports scene.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.